Ever since its debut in 2001, Animal Crossing has always seemed like an unstoppable force. Similar to Mario and Zelda, it was a series that we grew to expect a new entry from with each new Nintendo console. That is, until... Other than a big old dose of disappointment, all Animal Crossing fans got during the Wii U era were two separate spin-off games: Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer and Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Long story short, most fans weren't too fond of either game, especially the latter. But were these games really that bad? Well, apparently you can get both for just under $30 now, so why not? Let's check out these two Animal Crossing spin-offs and see what they have to offer. You ever visit one of your villagers and go, well, this sucks? Well, now you can fix their terrible homes with Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. At face value, this game actually has a lot of appeal. Designing your own home is one of the best parts of the Animal Crossing series, so to make a game that expanded upon this aspect was a pretty solid idea. The development team apparently enjoyed designing villagers' homes so much in the mainline titles that they wanted to give players that same experience, which is what inspired them to create this game. In Happy Home Designer, you're employed by everyone's favorite big bald debt collector, Tom Nook. He hires you to design all the homes in a developing village while he does I don't know what he does. During each in-game day, you'll be given a specific job to accomplish. They can range from simply designing the interior of a home to designing an entire school. Each job comes with a set of requirements, as well as some furniture that you'll need to work into your design. Other than that, the game gives you complete control over pretty much everything. While designing, you'll use the 3DS's touchscreen to move furniture around, which sure beats the hell out of the old way of doing it. Using the touchscreen to control a game like this honestly feels incredibly intuitive. So much so that they actually released an update which added this feature to New Leaf. Now, once you're finished designing, you'll watch a villager explore their new home. And I'm not gonna lie, this is my favorite part of Happy Home Designer. It's just so much fun watching them explore the homes you've created. Like, look at him, he fell asleep on the toilet. Duh. Watching villagers interact like this is a huge part of Happy Home Designer. And unlike past Animal Crossing games, they'll actually interact with most of the furniture and items in their home, instead of just standing there, like they did in past games. The reason Happy Home Designer places such a huge emphasis on villager interaction is due to its heavy use of amiibo, mainly amiibo cards. These things were created specifically for this game and function exactly as normal amiibo do, except now in card form. Scanning these cards allows you to invite specific villagers into the homes you've created, or you can call them up to design a home for them as well. The game even comes with a couple in the box to get you started. Being able to invite all your favorite villagers into the game is a pretty cool use of these cards, and just like most games with amiibo functionality, all of this is entirely optional. When you first start Happy Home Designer, your catalog of items will be pretty limited, but it will grow as you progress. I actually really enjoyed how limited the selection was from the start, as it forces you to think outside of the box with some of these jobs you get. However, I do wish there were more of these kinds of limitations in the game. To put it bluntly, there's really no point to this game. There's nothing stopping you from just placing the required items down and calling it quits. All of the additional wallpaper, flooring, and furniture that you can add is completely optional. No matter the outcome, the villager will love your design regardless. And after you realize this, it kinda takes some of the fun out of the experience. If a villager hates my design, they should just tell me. But that's just the Animal Crossing way. If you think about it, there's really no point to the mainline games as well. For example, nothing is really forcing you to pay back your debt. Animal Crossing is all about giving the player complete freedom to play how they want. Not having any kind of real consequences, Happy Home Designer is trying to replicate that same carefree feeling. However, this game just isn't able to keep me invested in the same way a traditional Animal Crossing game would. This is because besides designing homes and facilities, there isn't much else here. Don't get me wrong, Happy Home Designer is a very enjoyable experience, but after the first hour or so, you've already seen everything it has to offer. You do eventually gain access to new features and mechanics, such as being able to add ceiling decorations, but these are all unlocked with play coins. For those of you who don't know, play coins are rewarded to you for traveling with your 3DS. You get 1 coin for every 100 steps, so if you're like me and are a lazy piece of shit, you'll be doing a lot of this. I'm not against play coins being used, but I feel they should only ever unlock optional content. A lot of these additions add quite a bit to the overall experience, so it's a shame that if you don't travel a lot with your system, you'll be missing out on all of these features. With all of that said though, I feel Happy Home Designer would have worked better as an expansion pack to New Leaf. Like, imagine a new part-time job being added through this expansion. This part-time job would allow you to remodel villagers' homes as well as recruit new villagers to move into your town through amiibo cards. Facilities like the school could have also been added as new public works projects. Just being able to interact with your town in New Leaf in some way would have given Happy Home Designer so much more value. But in the end, it's nothing more than just a charming little side game that unfortunately loses that charm fairly quickly. While Happy Home Designer was met with a somewhat lukewarm reaction, this was the game that set every Animal Crossing fan off. The reveal for this game started with Isabelle walking out of a train station, and we all instantly think, Animal Crossing Wii U! But then the screen pans down a bit. It's a party game! What? As you can probably imagine, this game was universally hated by the fanbase. And that certainly didn't change once the game came out. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival has quite the reputation, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know too much about this game. I know it's hated, but I don't know enough to tell if that hate is truly justified or not. So let's try our best to go in with an open mind and see what Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is all about. Booting up the game for the first time will immediately drop you into the character select screen. And I put that in quotes because it's more so an amiibo select screen. You see, you select your character by tapping their amiibo into the game. They do include 2 in the box to get you started, but what if you want to play this party game with, you know, a party of people? Well, you better have some Animal Crossing amiibo lying around because each player needs their own amiibo to play. But other than using one to select a character, why is it that this game requires the use of amiibo? Well, because you need one to roll your dice, of course. What? You thought you were gonna press a button to do that? What do you think this is, a Stone Age? Come on. At this point though, it's not even trying to hide the fact that this game exists solely to sell more amiibo. This wouldn't be an issue if the game was fun, but it's not. All you do is tap an amiibo, move a certain number of spaces, and watch a cutscene play out. That's it.
That's all, folks.
The goal here is to be the player with the most happy points by the end. You gain or lose a certain amount depending on the space you land on. But where a game like Mario Party has minigames which can add a bit of strategy, Amiibo Festival has more random cutscenes. I never felt like I was playing this game, I more so felt like I was watching the gameplay itself. After a few rounds though, I couldn't help but wish there was more here. Oh, there is more. This is something that caught me completely off guard, but yeah, apparently there's more to do here other than the standard board game. You gain access to these extra minigames after about an hour or so of gameplay, and honestly, I had quite a bit of fun with these. The main gimmick here is they all make use of amiibo cards. The first one you'll play is Balloon Island, where you hold the card down to choose a villager and pick it up to drop them. You gain points by hitting balloons along the way, and you can multiply those points depending on how close to the center of the island you land. While it is pretty fun, I was only able to play for about 15 minutes before I got completely bored of it, so I quickly moved on from this one. Next up, I unlocked the quiz show, which apparently tests your knowledge of the Animal Crossing series. Psst, easy peasy. Who's this? Jak, of course. What item is this? A widescreen TV, duh. Which artist created this? Which one is fake? What does this have to do with Animal Crossing? I'm honestly kinda mixed on this one. While I really like the idea of a quiz game based on how well you know Animal Crossing, too many of these questions feel like they just don't relate to the series at all. At this point, I was starting to feel pretty underwhelmed by these minigames. I did somewhat enjoy them, but in the end, they didn't really offer anything substantial. I just felt like it wouldn't be worth my time to check out any more of them. But I decided to check out one more just for good measure. And my god, am I glad I did. Desert Island Escape. God, I love this game. Now, New Leaf players might already be familiar with this one, as it got ported over to that game with a welcome amiibo update. However, this is actually where it got its start, and it's also my first experience with it. In this game, 3 villagers are sent to a deserted island. The goal here is to search for supplies to build a raft to escape. However, the catch is you only have a limited amount of days and resources to do so. You'll start each day by moving 4 spaces at a time. If you manage to land on a special space, you'll play a minigame for some items. Then, once everyone's taken their turn, you'll set up camp and use some of your food rations for that night. There's a surprising amount of depth here. The entire time I was playing it, I couldn't help but wonder, why wasn't this the main focus of Amiibo Festival? Desert Island Escape is just so much more polished and enjoyable than everything else here. There's multiple stages to play, different difficulties, and a little bit of strategy involved. The rest of Amiibo Festival honestly can't compare to this one minigame. But now that it's included in New Leaf, there's actually no reason to go out and buy a copy of Amiibo Festival. Well, I guess besides the amiibos it came with. I'm honestly baffled that Amiibo Festival even exists. This game just feels so soulless, which is a stark contrast to how the rest of the series feels. However, I do think this quote from the game's director sheds some light on why this is. Honestly, we just wanted Animal Crossing Amiibo, so that's why we made a game that works with them. So the team just wanted to make Amiibo, but since they needed to have some type of functionality in a game, they quickly whipped up Amiibo Festival. I've seen so many people say they bought this game just for the Isabelle and Digby amiibo that came in the box. And I think the development team knew this, so they just kinda phoned home on this one. However, that's where my biggest issue with this game comes from. While I was lucky enough to pick it up for only $10, when it launched, this was a full retail release. Yeah, it came with 2 amiibo, but $60 for a game this shallow is insane. I hate that a series as wholesome as Animal Crossing has a game that exists solely to profit off of the amiibo craze. Making the game a free download where you need to buy an amiibo to play would have made a bit more sense here. In fact, Nintendo would do just that a year later with Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. So why not do the same with Amiibo Festival? Honestly, I think it's because they knew nobody would care about the game otherwise. So, yeah, pretty smart move. But that's pretty much all I have to say about these games. While I think it's interesting that they decided to experiment with Animal Crossing like this, I personally hope they don't ever try this again. Animal Crossing is a series that I feel doesn't really need spin-offs attached to it. I mean, that's like giving Slippy his own spin- Wait, what the fuck?